TDC Automotive is paying for you. Deposit? We're paying. 3-month installments? We're paying. Pay nothing for 3 months because we are paying. Take a moment, catch your breath, and roll out with ease. Save over $20,000 off your new Toyota Hiace because TDC Automotive is paying. Get your Toyota Hiace today. TDC Automotive, #1 for a reason. Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Good morning. This is Inside the News on WinFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. It is just 6 minutes past the hour of 11. Today is Saturday, September 11th, 2021. Exactly 20 years from the 9/11 incident, 20 years ago. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this edition of Inside the News. Remember, we are live also on our social media pages, Facebook, which is Win Media SKN, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. If you want to participate in today's discussion, you can send us a WhatsApp at 662-2204. The phone lines will be open at 466-0989. Today we are looking at crime statistics, drug trafficking. a number of incidents that have taken place across the Caribbean, even right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'm hoping to get the participation from you, the listeners. I want to say a special good morning to all the frontline workers here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Continue to do what you do. I know you're tired. I know, you're human. You need a break. But I just want to use this platform and use this opportunity to say thank you for the hard work that you've been doing and continue to do. This is Inside the News on 1FM 98.9. So I was doing some research a few days ago, and today, for today's edition of Inside the News, I wanted to look at some breaking news that came out of some different Caribbean islands with crime statistics, or just crime generally, and specifically drug trafficking, and the police, clamping down on people with drugs, people that have been caught with drugs, drug possession, importation, and the list goes on. And so I was able to get some information from the different islands in terms of breaking news, where millions of dollars worth of cocaine were discovered in different islands and involved some people that we would perhaps never expect. I know people have different expectations, but sometimes we're like, boy, no, I didn't expect this person to be involved in that, or I didn't expect this to happen to this person. But again, we're human beings, and you don't even know what could happen. So we're gonna start off with earlier this week, authorities in Martinique seized more than 600 kilos of cocaine. It says law enforcement authorities in Martinique seized over 600 kilos of cocaine in the fishing community of Oslin last week and arrested 7 individuals during a nighttime operation, according to local reports. Officers moved in after the suspects, who were being monitored, began loading multiple bales from a boat onto a van that was parked near the beach. Now, RCI-FM reported that the law enforcement officials seized more than 657 kilos of cocaine, some mobile telephones, and a GPS device. The suspects, 6 Martinique nationals and a Venezuelan, are currently in custody as investigations continue. Now, this is, when I say this is not news, this is not news in the context of, hearing this for the first time, that people are being caught with drugs. No, this has been happening for a very long time, and sometimes you question, how did this happen? How were these drugs allowed in the country? And you're puzzled. You want to know, somebody from a high position or somebody from a very credible position has to be involved. I also came across an article which says the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, RVIPF, of the British Virgin Islands has arrested a second member of its own ranks in the historic drug bust, where 2,353 kilograms of cocaine was seized in November, which equates to about $250 million, the largest drug confiscation in the British territory's history. A release issued by the police force Thursday identified the second police officer as 32-year-old Emile Dimenez, who will appear before the BVI Magistrates Court at the next available court date. The police officer was charged with 1 count of being concerned in the supply of a controlled drug to another, 3 counts of unlawful possession of a controlled drug with intent to supply, 1 count of keeping a firearm without a license, and 1 count of unlawful possession of a prohibited weapon. Now, this arrest is as a result of ongoing investigations in the cocaine seized in Balsam Gut in early November. Inquiries are continuing in the matter, said the police force. The cocaine was seized in a house belonging to Darren Davis, 41 years old, who has been a police officer in the BVI for more than 2 decades. The operation was conducted by a special BVI police unit handpicked to lead the high-stakes effort. At the time, investigators were preparing a probe into Davis and his brother Liston Davis, both of whom have been arrested. This is not the work of a few criminals sneaking through the cracks or a one-off. A seizure of this scale, especially when combined with other seizures made in recent months, is strong evidence of serious and organized criminality here in BVI, said outgoing BVI Governor Augustus Jaspert. This was from some time back. The investigation is at an early stage, but regrettably, the involvement of a police officer indicates that there may be pockets of corruption facilitating this kind of illicit activity. It is important that we act fast to eliminate and prevent this corruption from going further, he said. BVI Police Commissioner Mick Matthews, lauded the officers who conducted the successful operation. He said, "I have nothing but praise for the brave work of my team," and he posted that on Twitter. The commissioner said some individuals fled the premises during the operation, and the BVI police force has tapped the United Kingdom for support, and more arrests were likely, the commissioner said. Now, the cocaine was found hidden in 63 bundles in 3 vehicles at the house of Darren Davis, the police officer. We have heard of many instances where drugs, cocaine, etc. are being discovered, are being found, and you hear about it for a while and then it disappears. And the question is raised, I think, by many people, how did this happen? And perhaps there may have been people in high position involved in this matter, and this is what the police commissioner is saying there. We suspect that in order for such a magnitude of the significant amount of cocaine to enter a country, illegal drugs to enter a country, somebody must have given the approval. Somebody must have, really been to the top and involved in this mess. Now we continue. I came across an article from San Juan, Puerto Rico. It says, this was from 2020. The United States law enforcement authorities say they have seized 225 kilograms of cocaine and detained 3 people during an operation in the Caribbean Sea. The U.S. Coast Guard Monday said 2 of the suspected smugglers are Dominican Republic nationals and the other Colombian, while the seized cocaine has an estimated wholesale value of $6 million United States dollars. The U.S. Coast Guard said the interdiction is the result of an international multi-agency law enforcement effort in support of Operation United Resolve, Operation Caribbean Guard, Campaign Martillo, and the Caribbean Corridor Strike Force. The strong relationship and collaboration between the Coast Guard and the U.S. Navy continuously yields positive outcomes, as evidenced by this case, said Eric Jones, commander of the Coast Guard 7th District. Now, the shared unwavering resolve and daily interaction between the Department of Defense and local and federal law enforcement partners in the region help safeguard and strengthen the Caribbean region against this threat. He said, "We are committed to the protection of our nation's southernmost maritime border and of our fellow citizens in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, yes, we've heard of many instances, many instances where cocaine is found, and as I said before, you hear about it today, and then that's it tomorrow. Now we bring it home. This was done by the Observer in 2015. A member of the Fire and Rescue Services busted with cocaine at the Orwell Bradshaw International Airport has now been charged with drug smuggling. Mervyn Matthew of Greenlands arrived home in St. Kitts Friday morning, January 2nd, 2015, after a trip to St. Martin. A search of this person by authorities turned up an unspecified quantity of cocaine hidden around his genitals. He was taken into custody. The Observer understands that Matthew was on January 4th, 2015, charged with possession of cocaine and possession with intent to supply. Matthew's case bears striking similarity to another recent airport coke bust. In September, government employee Elijah Jeffers was caught with more than half a kilo of cocaine when she stopped at the airport after a short trip to St. Martin. Jeffers was reportedly acting as a drug mule, carrying the illicit drugs in condom sacks inside her genital cavity. She was charged possession of cocaine, importation of cocaine, and possession of cocaine with intent to supply, and released on $50,000 bail. So we're bringing it home closer, just for you to know what has happened in terms of drug trafficking and possession and importation of drugs, illegal drugs, here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, in January 2017-2020, a statement or a press release came out from the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, which says cocaine seized in major bust destroyed. The 124 packages of cocaine that were seized by members of the security forces last year have been destroyed. Members of the media were invited to witness the operation that took place on January 14th, 2020. The street value of the cocaine was estimated at more than 12 million Eastern Caribbean dollars, and the bust was one of the largest ever recorded. The anti-narcotics unit destroyed the illegal substance along with thousands of kilograms of compressed marijuana and a large number of uprooted marijuana plants that had been seized by police, in addition to a number of other exhibits. Sergeant Carleen Phipps oversees the anti-narcotics unit. Well, this was written in 2020. She disclosed that the cocaine burnt was seized following a search carried out on a yacht that ran aground on Sunday, November 3rd, 2019. She also noted that no arrests had been made in the case at the time. She went on to explain that the marijuana was seized from a number of operations as well as from packages handed over by Her Majesty's Customs and Excise Department. Sergeant Phipps reminded the public that the importation and distribution of marijuana is still an offense and can lead to an arrest. We know that the drug law has been amended where 15 grams is the legal limit that one could have, but bear in mind that anything over 15 grams is arrestable. You can be charged with possession of cannabis with intent to supply, she said. So we're bringing it home, and just providing you with the information so that you can determine for yourself. It is 22 minutes past the hour of 11. We take the short break to say thank you to our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation on Inside the News. We're looking at crime statistics, drug trafficking, and of course, we want to get your participation later on in this program. Let us hear from the sponsors for this program.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere, with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love. Now online. Shop www.shoptdcgroup.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects or sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for tuning into today's edition. Today is Saturday, September 11th, 2021, and it is 26 minutes past the hour of 11 here in our studios at 1FM 98.9. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's edition of Inside the News. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls to get your comment and your opinion and these incidents that have happened across the region. What do you think have fueled these things? We have our first call, so we'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Devon. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I see you're going climbing slippery slopes.
Climbing what? Sorry?
Slippery slopes. Let me help you. I could afford to climb any kind of slopes.
Okay.
I lived at the village and I lived in Newtown, and I have been vocal, not just today. Drugs, drug trafficking, drug everything has been associated with high-level people in this country who have facilitated it. So, it allows the drug pushers, the traffickers, to manipulate the poor people Because you know you're poor. We have like a move in this country. Drugs and murder, mayhem. We have seen drug pushers associating themselves with political parties openly, Even in the police force. You see them associating with drug people. Everybody, you live in a community, you know who is who. So the devil can't correct sin. And the reduction in it has been due to outside influence. Well, some inside too, Some have been murdered and some have been extradited. But it was a whole organized thing. I was living in Central Bastille. Plane used to come and drop the drugs. The police couldn't see them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. We often hear of organized crime, happening all over the place.
Man, it was organized in St. Kitts. Well organized to and orchestrated. And little was done to curb it. I remember one time they brought in this, I think it was the English Commissioner of Police. And he had to stand up to them because, you see, the local ones we had were so intimidated. And they can threaten you. They won't even say, so can come by your mother, your friend, tell them come. God is by the gate. You understand what I'm saying? So all the time, you see these young people killing and story, and so some of them were part of the enterprise. They were trained. And sometimes when people talk about, so-and-so is uncorruptible. I say, you are sick. The drug addiction is not so openly now. Our people put on crack up and down Bastille. Crack. We have the ganja now. And even that, you want the people have any love for the country. I kept raising the issue with these custom officers. I used to say it on the radio. I said, don't tell me that somebody just gone up the customs to work. Young men, you're mostly young men, They're flashing some hell expensive car. People were living way above the income. Way. And and you can't think that. I even mentioned the trailers. I said, you see how these trailers are coming? And some of the custom officers who want could call when I finish. Were cooperating with them. They were barely searching or scanning one. They had to tackle one that was passing a business place. And the trailer was being emptied and his back turned. I said, excuse me, is you look? I said, there's no way. Nobody's quantities of drugs could come in. Except they come in the containers. And people were eventually arrested for it. So a lot of turn the back eye. Imagine in this country that a prominent politician, a member of a government, openly declared that he would give up his elected seat for a known drugs person. Could you imagine that? So who are you going to for justice? That sometimes they capture the seals, drugs, and next you hear, in the police station, the drugs disappear.
What do you think can be done to clamp down on drug trafficking?
You got to pray, beg God. You got to start to pray because the devil is rampant. Because, let me say it another way, everybody should be suspect. Put it that way, you understand? Everybody should be suspect. You can't say, oh, well, he's the Prime Minister, he's the Deputy Prime Minister, he's the Commissioner of Police, he is the... Everybody should be considered suspect. And check the association. I still have trouble with some association going on around here, people who are up in the middle of the murder and the drugs and the crime and the thing, we now calling them, the good citizens and the investors, you know what I mean? There's no example for our young people. But you see, it's for our young people to understand that once you get in India and you acquire these things, you're going to lose them. The Bible says so, The Lord know the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. And they should look and learn how many of them throw up 3-story buildings, throw up mansions, make the poor people feel worse than how they are. To entice you, and we are there today. Ask the question.
No, you know, as you've said that, right? Some people have said that with drug trafficking, families benefit financially. What is your take on that?
Well, I could tell you, I live in areas where it happens. What they are doing is selling their soul, selling their children into bondage. Now, they do because they could go and beg. You know what I mean? Oh, you know, he give me $100. You know, nobody ever give you one, eh? And sometimes the little pay you're getting can't feed the household.
Right.
So they offer, they bring in, oh, you could come by me anytime, man. And next thing they have your children acting as mules. I have seen children who can't even think. They give them expensive slippers, clothes. They put them in nice uniforms. Girls are being abused. You hear about the abuse. Mothers, oh, you know, I'm the person saying interested in my child, you know, and he want to give my child education. Well, the kind of education I get pornographic, sexual abuse. So sometimes, you see, parents, we don't believe the Bible. I lived in the village, right? And I made it known to one of them. You see, my children, do not invite them to any party you have and don't give them anything. You got to have some kind of pride and integrity. But if your children see you eating what the drug man have, you can't tell them anything afterwards when he come to ask you to send your daughter and send your son. We have got to learn the Bible says with whatever you have, be content. So that is no excuse, but a lot of us like handles. You see, the government going to give me that. The drugs man gone now, so the government is not the drugs man. They have been weaned on it. And it's a shame, and it's kind of our parents. Look, our parents are poorer than we are. You're not much poorer than where we are, but they had integrity, but we have none. So, you know, and that is how the drug lords, the gang, you know, you hear about the gang in Colombia, so in Jamaica, you see how much of them lose their life for the drug man. And the women, you know, went on the road to protest. The same security general we have here, you know, he was in Jamaica with it, right?
Who's that?
The general thing for our security advisor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I wasn't aware of that. Sorry.
Well, check him out and check it out. What a hell of a war they had trying to capture this drugs man. And people came from different parts of Jamaica in Kingston to fight for him. I think about 75 persons died. People died, you know. Because what? The drug man, he knows how to keep them loyal by giving them. The government ministers give them contract, and they can't give the contract to the gang. So we got to watch it here too. Look and see who close to who. Look and see who close to who. Because unless we do, it goes on undercover. It was open like a rose. Now it goes undercover. I mean, somebody working in the same thing with you. Next thing they got BMW, and then they got this and they flashing this and they flashing that. But these things don't come from the ear.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your contribution. You shared a lot. You know, we've seen across the region, particularly in Jamaica and other countries, yes, organized crime and huge drug busts and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of cocaine and marijuana, and the list goes on. And we've also seen in some instances where people from prominent positions, people from positions that you least expect, are involved. This article is a true testament. Where in the BVI, a police officer of 20 years, and if you are a police officer of 20 years, you know, at that time, you know, have developed trust with the community, and the community, you know, have developed trust with you, respect for you, And so we've heard of too many instances of that. When we look at the 2020 crime statistics here in St. Kitts, according to those statistics released by the police sometime last week, about 40 instances where drugs were seized for possession, trafficking, and importation for St. Kitts, and 19 for Nevis. This gives us a total of 59. The statistics say the detection rate is 100%. And so we have seen these things happening right here. And again, the question is always there. How did you get all of that cocaine, all of that marijuana into the country? We are still taking calls here on WinFM's Inside the News. It is 11:38. We'll take a break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, we're going to continue for the second hour. The break will be at 12 for the headline news, and we'll continue there after. We're still taking your calls. The numbers are 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. Remember, we're also live on Facebook, so you can catch us on Facebook at winmediaskn.com, as well as our YouTube channel. But we want to take a break quickly to say thank you to the sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue the program for today. Let's take this short break, and we'll be right back.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News on 1FM 98.9. We'll head back to the phone lines, and so we'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Yeah, I'm back. I see everybody gone under cover. They gone under the table.
They're probably going to CPL, man.
I mean, you know, they say, how will I talk long, how on long, and you play music, nobody calling. Now, let me look at the financial money laundering and the Proceeds of Crime Act. Now, well, they said they have the financial services thing, security.
Right.
A lot of money laundering can be traced easy, you know. You open a business, a big business, and you did not go to any bank to finance this, where the money come from. You understand?
Right.
All of a sudden, you want a whole big radio station, fit out everything, but you know, Devon, I could help you. And money laundering used to go on, still go on. Still go on. You hear they have this kind of business and that kind of business. All they are doing is washing the money. The money did not have to be made here, you know. But it can be brought here for laundering. People could tell you stories about people start their business and somebody who wants laundry services come up and offer to buy shares in your business. These are common. I think sometimes even our CID kind of ignorant to the ways in which they do their business. So that we overlook the inland revenue. The inland revenue could trace. People own land and you want to know, they say they get land. Putting things in people's name. So you buy this big house and it is not in your name. So the money can be tracked. That's what they hope. But if you're any kind of a CID, any kind, half a kind, you see these documents, because I was on those, so I can't talk, but I saw. You hear?
Mm-hmm.
People who ain't even own a good pair of shoes. Name and people document. So when you say, oh, so-and-so thief, them government money and this and that. So when you go look, you don't see the name. But you see a name. Because you know the location of the property.
Uh-huh.
And another thing, the law says that when somebody has been found guilty, the Proceeds of Crime Act is supposed to go into force. That means all of the assets that you acquire, all of the bank account you acquire from the proceeds of crime, supposed to be seized. Do you know that?
Right.
When last year they see somebody something, they try the case and they walk up, they pay their 15,000, their 120,000, and they have all the assets still. Sometimes they wait so late because the next thing you know, the U.S. government come and claim the assets when you could have claimed it because the matter was tried in your court. So it make them bolder. It's like a man thief your man break the bank. Well, we don't hold up bank in St. Kitts. A man robbed something and he's given jail 3 years. So he go in, he spend it 3 years and come back out and he got the $500,000 still.
So you're saying essentially in terms of law enforcement.
Enforcement of the proceed of putting it legal term, you know. That is what happens. And then the interference or the intimidation of witnesses. All of these need to be fixed.
We've heard of too many instances of that, and that is why you see sometimes when these cases come around, you hear about it for a while and then it dies. It dies out. You never hear about it again.
Why? Even sometimes I go to the court and people who gave evidence, me, I ain't see a thing, I don't know a thing. Intimidation, or if you think you're bold, then they kill somebody for you to show that they're serious. And then they walk up. But you see, the good thing about everything is that there's a God in heaven. He said, whatever done in darkness must come out to light. Must. And we must be careful who we call. Oh, he's a good man, he ain't corrupt, he ain't this. And when everybody know differently. So, what example is there for the young man? The young man who poor and struggling. And they see people of influence mixing and slapping and eating and drinking with these people. You don't think he wants to share too? So that they have to it is the people at the top
You know,
who have to
sometimes
promote these things, and until our people become people of integrity, and they should let us have the lie detector test.
yes.
But everybody should be tested. And while I'm at it, you see that Integrity in Public Life Act that didn't pass?
Mm-hmm.
It passed in the House but has not been implemented.
Right.
No, well, in Navy cities.
But not here.
Have you ever heard anybody get up in Parliament and say, I want it done now? There is agreement between the opposition and the government.
I you know, oh boy.
No.
Probably may not see that happening. You know, based on Caribbean politics.
Look, I watch every Parliament as long as I'm at home. Not one day you hear people say, oh, they didn't put the integrity in public life. I have never heard the opposition get up. Now, if they were serious, they could add to the cause out there. But the government ain't doing nothing. The opposition is glad. Everybody hiding what they got. You know, so this thing has been institutionalized until we become people of integrity. Then we could talk.
Mm-hmm. You know, I came across this quote that everybody hates corruption until they start to benefit from it. Your thoughts?
Yeah. But the benefiting got to be you know, Devon.
Mm-hmm.
You got to decide, look, if I got to eat my dry bread, I got to eat my dry bread. Because once they think, then they feel they own you.
Mm-hmm.
They examine you, you know. Oh, you know, Devon, you're so nice. And Devon, Barbie, come with me. When you start to talk, so my antenna go up. I wonder what you're coming with. They make poor people children offers that they feel they can't refuse. They exploit the poor. And politicians, and so Lord have mercy on them. I pray for them for their salvation, you know. I pray for all of them, that the Lord will save them and change their heart. Some people killing up themselves. They ain't even blind enough to say that the opposition and the government have the same opinion. Oh, you know, we want to change. If you want to change, why are they not lobbying for it in the House? You ever think about that?
Mm-hmm. That's a good observation.
When the filing starts, they're going to have to file too.
Everybody's going to have to file.
That's what I mean.
You know, put forward what they have.
Implemented, the longer it is not implemented, is the more everybody get to hide. I mean, just common sense. So sometimes some people want to lose their salvation over people. Oh, you know, this government and that promise, and how come the opposition ain't saying nothing?
Mm-hmm.
You talking, but they're not talking. And some of them know people in drugs up under politicians. If the candidates them don't know, you point out to your representative, hello. You see that one is walking around behind you, you better be careful, you know. You could talk to your representative. I noticed Mr. So-and-so hanging around you, you know, and he making all kind of donations. You be careful. But some of them want to have money to give out. When election comes, we are not perpetuating the system. We want the 500, we want the 1,000, the poor politician ain't have it. Well, if I'm a drug man and you're in my constituency and you ain't got it, wouldn't I make you an offer? It's up to you to refuse it and be prepared to lose. How about that? But how many are willing and prepared to lose? Hold on to their integrity. And say, well, if they want to take it from Devon, they'll take it from Devon. I'll give them what I got. You know? All right, then. I'm going before Eli. Eli is my family, my Freeman family. Eli, come in.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. We're still taking calls right up until 12 noon for the headline news. It is 11:53. And let me say thank you guys so much for your participation. Thank you so much for listening. This is Inside the News. Today is Saturday, September 11th, 2021. The phone lines are still open. The numbers are 466-0989. We have another caller. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning.
How are you today, sir?
I'm good, thanks. What about you?
I'm good, and thanks, man. I tuned in on your program and you put out a topic there to discuss. But while I'm somewhat familiar with it, I think it's appropriate because this program is Inside the News, and so there are other newsworthy matters that I wish to delve into, especially that we are members in St. Kitts and Nevis of CARICOM. Are you familiar with the CARICOM meeting with the AU?
The CARICOM meeting with the
AU, the African Union, that was held on Tuesday.
Yes.
One of the things that came out of it is the present face that challenges that we face within the pandemic. And what came out of it is like the challenges is on our people to come up with a formula, the scientists, those people of that mind, because we do have the University of the West Indies. We are aware that Cuba on their own does their own vaccine. But with the University of the West Indies and the collaboration persons of minds of that caliber on the continent, come up with something comprehensive so that we can meet the challenges and go forward in terms of what technology. Because, Mr. Cornelius, I'm familiar with history to an extent. And in Massachusetts, I think it was 1889 or thereabouts, there was this outbreak. And it was this, quote-unquote guy, slave guy, his name was Odesimus, that came with that technology, so to speak, but he used what we call acacia, pricked himself, insert that sort of illness, what was plaguing that region up there, affiliated himself, and that is where that technology, that idea, where these people realize. Now the governor bought into it, but the government of the United States did not buy into it till it actually caught on in Massachusetts. So there is where we know inoculation. That's the inception of inoculation, and that was a breakthrough to where we are today. So the African Union and the government in the CARICOM, chaired by Mr. Gaston Brown, Ms. Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, and Mr. Ralph Gonzalez was at present. And so that was high on the agenda, the health issue and our challenges into coming up with formula that can even equal what modern technology has allowed those that are providing vaccine to do and go above and beyond to face the challenges of the future. So that is one of the things that came out of it. So I just wanted to bring that to the fore because it was the first time with that sort of collaboration with the continent and the Caribbean, CARICOM, and so I think it's worthy of conversation. Thanks for listening.
Right, thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. We're still taking calls here on 1FM 98.9. We'll be wrapping up shortly for the headline news. which comes in just about 2 minutes. So we'll try to take at least one more call before we wrap up. The numbers are 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. Let's take this other caller. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, greetings. Give thanks for the reasoning so far. You know, today, the 11th of September, a new year begins in Ethiopia. The difference between the calendars, Western Gregorian calendar, is 7 years, so it is 2014 in Ethiopia. We want to heartily extend a blessed new year to Ethiopians at home and abroad. Okay, let's move on. We was listening to a conversation a while ago concerning monies and what's the word used here? Laundering, money laundering, and bribing the poor and things like that. You see the class system? The class system, as we said before, and keep echoing, are dictated by economics. Economics. The upper class have it abundantly. The middle class benefits from what trickle down from the upper class. It's almost like a bribe. And the lower class, the masses of the people, are in dire, stricken poverty, hand to mouth. Now, if we are concerned about the money laundering and the bribe, the this and the that and the that within the scheme of things, we would rally to get rid of the class system. You know, mates, and don't tell me it is here and there and there. I'm talking about my race, especially us who was taken away and still dispersed, still scattered in these plantation islands. Knowing our story are different to other people's story, we need to get rid of the class system in our midst, ASAP, now, like yesterday is. Knowing it is dictated by money. Blessed love.
Thank you, Carl, so much for your contribution. It is 12 noon. We'll take this break for the headline news, and when we come back, we will continue inside the news. Let's take this break, and we will be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9 Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects or sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I'm Devon Cornelius.
Making the headlines.
Scriper. Youth leaders discuss issues aimed at inspiring, involving, and manifesting tomorrow's leaders.
The Caribbean Examination Council confirms a mid-October release of regional exam results. In Antigua and Barbuda, the Education Minister, the Honorable Darrell Matthew, says COVID-19 vaccination among the key stakeholders is the fastest way to ensure a return to face-to-face learning. Internationally, a call for unity as the U.S. pauses to mark 20 years since the September 11th attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people. Now, the details.
Youth leaders from across the Caribbean concur that an enabling environment is needed for young people across the region to grow and participate in decision-making, among other things. Speaking at a regional panel discussion on the topic, Inspiring, Involving, and Manifesting Tomorrow's Leaders, Caribbean policy analyst Dr. Delano De Souza stressed that today's leaders should be focused on creating the right atmosphere for young people to participate and engage themselves in politics without fear of victimization and backlash.
In terms of inspiring the next set of leaders, we have to change the political landscape that we have today. And our leaders now, our current leaders now have a big role to play in that. I think about political tribalism and so on. And that is something that seems to be dividing us as a people. And that fear in terms of speaking out about issues in terms of farm and informed positions and speaking about it, that's something that is very pervasive in terms of our societies. And until young people who can speak confidently without fear of things like victimization, without fear of losing a scholarship, without fear of being lambasted by police and things of the sort. I think it's going to be difficult to get the right sort of people in leadership.
Rahim Augustine Joseph, former chairperson of the St. Lucia National Youth Parliament, while on the panel, lobbied for educational advancement and aligning the education system with the needs of the workforce.
For me, I think what really is going to be important and indicative of the extent to which we're able to inspire and build new leaders is the way in which we reform our education system. And what I mean by that is ensuring that the education system is in direct correlation to what the future of work looks like. A lot of young people are tired of being able to work in particular jobs that they've known all their lives, or rather their fathers and grandparents know all their lives. But even more than that, it is that there is this direct mismatch between what young people are learning and what the future of work requires. And that, in part, is because of the continued linearity and hierarchical nature of most of our educational systems, which just ensure that there is just a few things. One, memorization. Two, rote learning. Three, getting answers on stakes on based on answers, and that there needs a direct transformation of the educational system to us to ensure that young people are able to see that these are the things that I want to be able to go into in a modern environment, and that the environment facilitates it. Even more than that, there needs to be more robust funding for education, because we must recognize as a small island developing states that that is the most productive capacity, and that even beyond that, it has the avenue to be able to transform our societies, because education really is the liberating force.
The panel discussion organized by the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association SCNIPA on the occasion of its 20th anniversary celebrations also saw participation from its former president, Cara Daly, who called for more mentorship and life skills programs for young people to advance in their personal and professional lives.
I had the privilege of being a part of a mentorship program for 2 years. It was called the Diamonds in the Rough Mentoring Program. It was piloted in one of the secondary schools on the island. Unfortunately, it is no longer up and running, but its main goal was to achieve just that, because we found that many times students were taught, okay, I have to study these subjects, I have to get a job, I have to then go to university, but there was not any, you're in school, you're learning the subjects, but you're not really learning any life skills. You don't know how to write a resume. You don't know how to behave or how to dress for a job interview. Simple basic skills like that. And what the program tried to do was, as the schooling system is separated into streams, everyone was in one complete space, and then the streams, persons from different streams were mixed among themselves. So all of them were mixed together and were then interacting, let's say I was in the A1 stream, I was then interacting with someone in the A5 stream, to break down those barriers and break down the stigma of being in a different stream. Also, that program, I found it really empowered the youth. It gave them a different sense of thinking, okay, well, studying my subjects isn't everything, because a lot of times in high school students, they're thinking, oh, I need to get all grade ones, I need to do 10 subjects, I need to do 15 subjects. That is what success is. But really, getting a 2 is still success. Doing 8 subjects is still success. And it was trying to reimagine the definition of success. And we were involved in different activities, persons, picked up like cooking skills and so forth, and then later became a chef and then traveled the world, being a chef and stuff like that. So I think that we should fund and create more mentorship programs like that.
Neil Gums, who currently serves as the president of the Anguilla National Youth Council, expressed that he was delighted to have been afforded the opportunity to be part of the decision-making process on his island.
My fellow panelists covered most of the areas, but what I would add is giving young people actual opportunity to actually make decisions. For example, one of the most inspiring things for me as a youth leader was actually seeing my voice actually matter. So in other words, for example, sitting on government boards, sitting on statutory bodies, where you're actually making decisions. I think that's one of my main inspirations.
Dominic Noel is executive member of the National Student Union of Belize, and one of the panelists spoke to the vulnerability of Caribbean economies and the need for diversification.
We are living in an environment that is highly dependent on tourism, highly debt saturated, have all of these things that are occurring at the same time. I think for us in the Caribbean, one of the things that we have to realize is that the future is in the cloud. And when I say the future is in the cloud, the future is in technology. We must be able to export more than our natural resources and depend less on the exploitation of our resources, our land, and our people in the area of tourism. tourism is a very exploitative industry from my point of view. That is.
The regional panel discussion took place virtually on Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, and was moderated by Skyniper's President Patrice Harris and Vice President Muriel Knight.
The Caribbean Examination Council results for the June-July 2021 examinations will be released in early to mid-October. Following consultations with regional governments and other educational stakeholders from across the region in May 2021 to delay the regional examinations by a further 2 weeks to allow more time for candidates to prepare for their exams. Exams began on June 28th and were completed on July 30th, 2020. According to a press release from the Caribbean Examination Council, results will be sent out in a three-tiered approach. Firstly, released to the Ministries of Education, then joint meeting with the Ministry of Education, and then thirdly, released to candidates on or before October 15th, 2021. For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the results will be released to the Ministry of Education and released to candidates on or before October 20th, 2021. The Caribbean Examination Council's team is in contact with regional and international higher education institutions to communicate this timing to minimize the possibility of students being disadvantaged during matriculation. Additionally, for university or college applicants, it is possible to make an early result release request. This allows results to be sent quickly to universities or colleges within a few days after the release of the official examination results through CXC's official site. In Antigua and Barbuda, the Education Minister, the Honorable Daryl Matthew, says COVID-19 vaccination among the key stakeholders is the fastest way to ensure a return to face-to-face learning. ABS Antigua has the details.
60% of the nation's teachers have been vaccinated as of more than 1,500 students between the ages of 12 and 17. While applauding the climbing numbers, Education Minister, the Honorable Daryl Matthew, is appealing for full compliance to get the nation's children back to school.
I would like to make an urgent appeal once again, Ursula, to our parents, to our teachers. Please let us get our people inoculated. The acting CMO, Dr. Joseph, when she was here a few days ago, indicated that our children are only as protected as we allow them to be. Let us protect our children, not only from COVID-19, but also from being undereducated in many cases.
The minister says the continued absence from face-to-face instruction caused by